This gate is illegal. You don't have the right to bar access to what has always belonged to the people, she declared. Nate, a former firefighter who had returned to the valley to live a quieter life, stood calmly behind the gate. This land has been in my family for generations. It was never HOA property, he said, almost apologetically. You don't get to decide what happens here. Picture this, a peaceful ranch community where residents pride themselves on their shared values in beautiful landscapes. However, when one resident named Lisa, who represents their local homeowners association, took it upon herself to enforce the rules in a rather aggressive manner, things quickly spiraled out of control. Huddled in a serene valley with rolling green hills and whispering cottonwoods, this closed ranch was once a thriving hub of community life. Children used to ride ponies near the stables. Weekend farmers markets lined the gravel paths, and families picnicked beneath wide oaks that shaded the main pasture. It was more than just land. It was a shared heartbeat, a place where residents felt a sense of belonging. The ranch featured sprawling fields, picturesque barns with peeling red paint, and a close-knit group of residents who cherished their tranquil surroundings. But time hadn't been kind. The upkeep had become expensive, and debates over liability concerns and insurance grew louder at every HOA meeting. Eventually, financial difficulties and safety concerns forced the ranch's closure, leading to a significant shift in the community dynamics. With the gates locked and the once bustling activities halted, tensions began to rise among the residents. People wondered who was responsible for the decision. Some blamed mismanagement. Others quietly blamed each other. But one voice was louder than the rest. If you've lived in a neighborhood with an HOA, chances are you've met someone like her. Clipboard in hand, visor tightly fastened, always alert for violations. Known for her unwavering commitment to enforcing community rules, Lisa saw the closure of the ranch not as a loss, but as an opportunity to assert her authority. Motivated by a strong sense of entitlement and a belief that she was the guardian of the community's standards, she took it upon herself to rally the residents against what she perceived as a threat to their way of life. In her mind, the ranch was not just property, it was a symbol of what the community stood for, and she would stop at nothing to reclaim it. Her actions, however, would soon spark a heated debate about the balance between individual rights and community regulations, and lead to serious consequences for her. Lisa's campaign began with flyers slipped into every mailbox titled "Reclaim Our Ranch." She went door to door collecting signatures, often accompanied by her miniature poodle Muffin, who wore an HOA mascot vest. She launched a newsletter detailing supposed violations by the property's new private owner, Nate Harper, who had inherited the land from his late grandfather. Lisa confronted Nate one morning at the gate, her voice sharp with authority. "This gate is unlawful. You can't just block off what's always been public land," she snapped. Nate, a retired firefighter who had come back to the valley for peace, remained steady behind the gate. "My family has owned this land for decades. It was never part of the HOA," he replied, his voice firm but regretful. "This isn't yours to control." The once vibrant community was now filled with whispers of discontent and uncertainty. The dynamics among the residents shifted dramatically. Some supported Lisa's crusade, drawn in by nostalgia and the idea of reclaiming something they believed had been unfairly taken from them. Others began to question her motives. "She's not trying to save the ranch," one longtime resident murmured over coffee. "She's trying to control it." This backdrop sets the stage for a conflict that would challenge the very fabric of their community. As the situation at the closed ranch escalated, the HOA Lisa made her demands crystal clear. She insisted that the gates to the ranch be reopened, arguing that the community had a right to access the land they once enjoyed. Her reasoning was rooted in a belief that the ranch was a shared resource, and its closure was an infringement on the residents' rights. She demanded regular community meetings to discuss the ranch's future and proposed that the HOA take control of the property to ensure it was maintained according to her standards. We'll build a new fence, paint the barns beige to match HOA guidelines, and maybe add picnic tables, she proposed at one HOA meeting. Several residents clapped. Others stared in disbelief. This entitlement mindset where one individual believes they have the authority to dictate how others should live significantly affected community interactions. Lisa's demands created a divide among residents, with some rallying behind her, while others felt her approach was overreaching and self-serving. She always brings muffins to meetings, but don't let the sugar fool you, one resident whispered after a tense discussion. She wants to control everything, from our mailboxes to the ranch. This clash highlighted the challenges of balancing personal desires with the collective needs of a community. More and more residents found themselves choosing sides, not necessarily based on values, but out of exhaustion or fear of confrontation. Similar entitlement behaviors can be observed in other communities as well. For instance, in a suburban neighborhood, a resident once insisted that the local park be reserved exclusively for their family gatherings, claiming it was unfair for others to use the space during their events. In another case, a homeowner demanded that the HOA enforce stricter rules on pet ownership, citing her dislike for barking dogs, despite the fact that many residents enjoyed having pets. These examples illustrate how entitlement can lead to conflict and disrupt the harmony of community living. As one retired neighbor put it, people like Lisa don't think rules apply to them. They think they are the rules. As we delve deeper into the HOA Lisa incident, we'll explore the repercussions of her demands and the lessons learned about community engagement and respect. As tensions mounted in the community, the situation at the closed ranch reached a boiling point. Lisa, feeling increasingly frustrated by the resistance to her demands, found herself in a heated confrontation with a group of residents who opposed her views. What began as a discussion about reopening the ranch quickly escalated into a shouting match, with emotions running high and voices echoing across the empty fields. "I've given my life to this neighborhood," Lisa shouted. "And we didn't ask you to," someone snapped back. In the heat of the moment, Lisa pulled out her phone and called 911. The absurdity of calling emergency services over access issues was not lost on many who witnessed the incident. As Lisa dialed, bystanders exchanged incredulous glances, some shaking their heads in disbelief. "Is she really calling the police over a ranch?" one neighbor muttered, while another remarked, "This is just ridiculous. There are real emergencies happening out there." The scene was surreal, with residents standing around, some recording the incident on their phones, while others tried to reason with Lisa, urging her to reconsider her drastic action. The dispatcher on the other end struggled to comprehend the situation. "You're saying there's a dispute over a closed ranch?" they asked, clearly baffled. Meanwhile, the crowd grew, with more neighbors arriving to witness the unfolding drama. The absurdity of the situation only fueled the tension, as laughter and disbelief mixed with frustration. This moment would soon become a defining point in the HOA Lisa incident, illustrating how entitlement can lead to irrational decisions and community chaos. When deputies arrived, Lisa pointed at Nate like he was a trespasser. "Arrest him for obstruction," she barked. The lead deputy, Officer Reyes, calmly reviewed the property deed and said, "Ma'am, this is private land. The HOA has no authority here." But the story didn't end there. What Lisa didn't realize was that multiple residents had submitted formal complaints against her to both the HOA board and the police. After reviewing video footage, the sheriff's office opened an investigation into her misuse of emergency services and alleged harassment. The HOA board responded swiftly. Lisa was suspended from her position pending the investigation. A notice was sent to all residents. Due to recent events, Lisa has been temporarily removed from her duties while the matter is under review by legal counsel. The community's response to the HOA Lisa's actions was a mix of disbelief, frustration, and, at times, humor. Neighbors gathered in small groups, sharing their opinions about the incident and the absurdity of calling 911 over a ranch access dispute. "I never thought I'd see the day when someone would call the police over a locked gate," one neighbor remarked, shaking their head. "It's just a ranch, not a crime scene." As discussions continued, the impact of Lisa's behavior on community relations became evident. Some residents felt compelled to take a stand against her entitlement, while others worried that the incident would create lasting divisions. "We used to have barbecues and game nights together," lamented another resident. "Now it feels like we're all on edge, waiting for the next outburst." Amid the seriousness of the situation, humor also emerged as a coping mechanism. Social media platforms lit up with memes and jokes about the Ranchgate incident, with one popular post featuring a mock emergency alert. "Attention! Ranch access is now a level 5 emergency." Some residents started wearing t-shirts that read, "I survived Ranchgate 2025." This lighthearted approach helped some residents bond over the absurdity of the situation, even as they recognized the underlying tensions. Ultimately, the community's reactions highlighted the delicate balance between individual rights and collective harmony. While some rallied behind Lisa, many others sought to restore the camaraderie that had been disrupted, emphasizing the importance of understanding and respecting one another in their shared living space. The HOA Lisa incident serves as a powerful reminder of the broader implications for community living. One of the most significant lessons is the importance of respecting personal property and boundaries. While it's natural to feel a sense of ownership over shared spaces, it's crucial to recognize that these areas belong to everyone in the community. Understanding and respecting the rights of others fosters a more harmonious environment where all residents can feel comfortable and valued. Misunderstandings can easily escalate into conflicts, as seen in this case. We've seen how the closure of the ranch sparked a heated debate about community access and individual entitlement, leading to a dramatic escalation that culminated in a 911 call. This incident serves as the importance of respecting personal property and boundaries, as well as the need for clear communication within communities to prevent misunderstandings and conflicts. Regular community meetings and forums can provide a platform for residents to voice their concerns and collaborate on solutions, ultimately strengthening relationships and building trust. Taking a moment to evaluate our actions can lead to more positive interactions and a greater sense of community. By respecting personal boundaries, fostering open communication, and reflecting on our own behaviors, we can create a more inclusive and supportive community for everyone. Let's take these lessons to heart and leave the emergency lines open for actual emergencies. If this story moved, you don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful tales of resilience and justice. Your support allows us to keep delivering valuable insights and stories that inform and inspire people everywhere. Thank you for watching Work Story, and see you in the next one.